and bam, blew the front end right off my hot rod.
You ain't straightening a sprint car chassis with this setup right here. Use tractor, push the car up against a tree. Yeah, pretty well dead on where we need to be there. Close enough for the type of whip we go with. Good enough we can clean it up and weld her back into place. Go racing again. We gotta fix the front bumper still.
Parts broke, the right wheel broke, not here, and right there.
Oh yeah? What are you doing, Daniel? You gonna fix it?
I'm going to go under there and see if it leaks. The sound comes from outside.
Welcome back to Lad's Garage. As you can see, we're back in the garage. Or shop, whatever you want to call it. Last video, if you watched it, you know, old Bandit here took a pretty hard hit. Or gave a pretty hard hit, however you want to view it. Either way, currently in the process of taking everything apart so we can straighten, re-weld, and put it all back together so we can make next week's show. But I had some comments on the last video that I thought would be, well, I don't know what to do with my hands, but I thought I'd try to answer some of the comments verbally and kind of get my personal response verbally. First off, I love positive comments. There's a local guy said he was glad to see my car back together. I was glad to have it together. Heck, I was glad to finish the feature. Another guy said they look up to my positive attitude and all that stuff, and they got a big block modified as their profile picture. I love those things. I never drove one. Never really went to watch them, but I love the concept. I watched videos on YouTube of the big block modifieds running. I'd take those things over sprint cars any day. So one of the comments was, people in that class can't drive worth a crap. Well, I'm going to tell you, I don't know if they're referring to the factory stocks or the fact we have some Pro 4s racing with us. I don't know which class this guy is referring to, but as far as our factory stocks go, we try to run clean every race. We try to go green to checkered. A lot of weeks we do go to green checkered, maybe an occasional spin out or a broken car, but for the most part, we typically go pretty clean most of the race. The Pro 4s, the few that have come down and raced with us, typically race us pretty clean. Wyatt, the guy that I got into, typically pretty clean racer. He don't want to tear his crap up, just like I don't want to tear my crap up. So we all typically try to race clean because we don't want to tear our crap up. To answer the second part of the comment about being outran by a 4-cylinder, let me tell you something. If you never sit down and actually look at the lap times of what a Pro 4 and a factory stock run, you get a Pro 4 and get them rolling on the high side, they can turn pretty similar times to some of the faster factory stocks. So getting outrun by one, yeah, you don't want to get outran by a 4-cylinder with a V8, but these newer 4-cylinders produce pretty similar torque to what a 355 or something of that equivalence, running a lower compression like we're supposed to run. They can turn similar power and torque, and if they can keep the car rolling, they are pretty wicked fast. And granted, our rule, the way the track promoter told them, they're supposed to be on Hoosiers. If they were on Hoosiers, they would be even faster. So that's something to think about on right there. Is their cars aren't, people underestimate it. They see 4-cylinder versus V8, they're like, that 4-cylinder is going to get them. But honestly, they're pretty equal to what we have. The other comment that I wanted to address, which I've pretty well addressed all of them, was that cage looks scary. I don't know what part of the cage the person was looking at, but if you're referring to the front of the car, there's almost, I think it's 6.5 feet is what I just measured. So basically from where the edge of the dash is, that's where the front of the 4-point for the main driving compartment is. From basically that point to right here, where the frame is roughly 6.5 to 7 feet in distance. This is a 8-point cage in this car. I got 2 points that come out from the main 4-point to come down. They come right behind the header on both sides. So I have support there going that way. And plus, I got X bracing in the rear. Basically, anything from this point forward is not required. There is a 6-point. Now, if you're referring to the main cage area of the car, if it looks scary, that's because it's an older built car. Chances are Uncle Larry or somebody built this car in their backyard, built a street stock, factory stock race car. This car has been around for many years. Yeah, the cage is not professionally built. It does not look the prettiest, but I can tell you, I trust it. If I didn't trust it, I'd be making repairs to it to make it where I could trust it. It has taken some pretty hard hits. I've taken hard hits with this cage. I trust it. Nobody wants to go upside down, but I've seen professionally built race cars collapse going upside down in a rollover. And I've been in homemade cars that's gone upside down and turned around and reused the cage. Anything on the front of the car is basically pieced together because it really doesn't provide any support for the main cage itself. All it is to kind of protect the radiator, and yeah, it adds a little bit of support to the chassis, but not enough that I would say it's going to be effective. Without some major redesigning, the front part is basically there for show and radiator support. And speaking of cage, if you've seen in the video, we ran the feature with the whole front end knocked over probably 6 inches or so, if not more. Well, I've taken the tractor and I've pushed it over with the tractor and got it pretty close to where it ought to be. I still need to go through, I'm going to have to cut all the bumper bars off. As far as that goes, all this has to come off. I'm going to probably leave this bar on, but I'm going to cut all these other bars off because they're already pretty well broken off anyway. And I'm going to have to reconstruct at least these outer bars. And then I still got to kind of push this over just a little bit more. You have it straight, but other than that, the front end will be back together, and we'll probably race it again at least one more time. I'm going to tell you, if you have a race car and you don't have a porta power, well, I'm going to tell you, we're straightening things out or bending them to make them look straight. However you want to put it, porta power, get you one. But what I am thinking, instead of having a bar going from right there down to the bumper on both sides, I got this bar here, even though it's not the prettiest, but I got that bar to kind of help protect the radiator. And I think I'm just going to run these 2 bars out, weld them into place, because I plan on redoing all this stuff up here anyway, so I think that's what we're going to do and call this patched or fixed. I don't know, you guys know me, I'll probably run it next year. And of course, naturally, we start welding and run out of wire. I got a big roll, but I don't have the adapter for it. I'll run and get one tomorrow. I'm gonna try this out. I took the 2-pound roll, cut the sides off, and cut the center section out of it. And it fits in here, not perfectly, but I think it might work to do what we need to do. It doesn't have to work for a long time. It just needs to work long enough for us to band it back together. I also pulled out the nose for the old leafer. Thought about putting it on here, but I think it's going to be more work than I want to put into it. So it was a thought. I'll probably take it back up and put it on the scrap pile again. Another change of plans. The spool I had on the welder, that dilly whacker fits perfect in there. We'll use this. That'd be better. We are back in business, boys and girls. Here's the deal. I'm just going to weld these bars on the bottom. I have that bar there to kind of protect the radiator if something was to happen there. But ultimately, if you have too much support, you got to have a breaking point. So what I have going here with these 2 bars is enough to support the bumper. I don't think I've ran any more than 2 bars in years. This bar here, like I said, it will support the radiator if needed. The reason why we broke so much on the car to start with was it was too stiff, too rigid. So the 45s going up to here when we hit was enough pressure to put on this top bar and popped everything loose. The way it is now, hopefully, normally I would put a breakaway pin in there. I'd weld a smaller piece of pipe on one side and a bigger piece of pipe on the other, or do an angle on, pipe and the car, and that way there's a breakaway point. This way, hopefully we don't use the bumper other than kind of push the counts boys around a little bit, but the plan is if it hits, this is just gonna, fold or buckle or whatever, and hopefully not do any more damage than what's already done to the car. I'm gonna finish working on the car. One of the things that might be on my list, I haven't quite decided if I'm going to do it yet or not, is I'm going to put some hood pins in to help hold the front of the hood down, so hopefully we don't lose the hood again. But either way, that's a possibility on my list. But the bumper's done. I got to put the nose cover back on. I don't know if I'm going to put the whole lower valance on or not, but either way, we'll put at least the top on. And I don't know how we're going to tie it down to the bumper yet, but we'll make something work. But we'll hopefully see you guys out at Farmington Empire Speedway, August 15th, coming up this coming weekend. Y'all stay safe. God bless you. We'll catch you later.